Hi guys, Grisel here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. So I am actually in my bedroom as opposed to the great shelf of weirdness that's usually behind me. And that's because this is where at least I'd say 90% of my writing gets done. And today's topic is Camp NaNoWriMo. So if you've been following me for a while on the blog, you'll know that I've been working on various writing projects, and I've kind of started to provide some videos on that as well. Over time, I've developed my own process, and I just think it's kind of interesting to share a writer's process with other people, especially aspiring writers or people who've never done NaNoWriMo and are interested in getting started, who maybe feel intimidated by the whole process. So Camp NaNoWriMo, it's a little different. It's much more of an easy entry-level type of a project if you're interested in getting started with some sort of long-term writing project and you're not sure where to get going. Camp NaNoWriMo does not have the strict 50,000 word verification thing that you need to do in order to win Camp Nano. You just kind of have to decide on a project and pick your own word limit. It used to be that you needed to have at least a 10,000 word goal, but now they've expanded that. You can do other projects, you can do poetry, plays, screens, thingies, whatever. So I am actually working on an other project, and that is the outline for what I think of as book 2 in the Anuna cycle, and that I keep promising to make a video or post about that project. I find it so hard to talk about it, and I need to get over that, especially if I'm planning on actually going through with the querying process and trying to find an agent and selling my idea. So I need to get over that hang up. I need to find ways to just like suck it up, be brave, and talk about what the project is about. So I've kind of glimpsed details about it here and there, but I've never fully written out a summary and posted it somewhere public. So eventually I'll probably make a video on that. But right now I'm working on book 2, which is generally not recommended, but it's an idea that's been in my head, and it actually is more closely linked to the original idea that I had for Anuna than what that book became. And I just kind of want to get it out of my head, even if it doesn't go anywhere. I just want to write that story down. I don't want to forget it now, and the characters are kind of alive in my brain right now, so I'm trying to get that done. So as I was saying, my Camp Nano project is really an outline rather than a full-blown novel. For me, that has been a process that has evolved itself. So outlining for me used to be taking, either a notebook or a Word file and detailing each and every chapter, which is great if you're getting started and you don't have any other tools at hand. But as you learn your own style, you kind of develop better processes for yourself. And in the point where I am right now, as far as writing and just work life and just commitments to everything else, I've had to change that style. I can't just always rely on carrying a notebook. I can't always rely on having access to that one Word file or being able to use a USB or a Dropbox account or whatever. So I need a bit more mobility. My process, therefore, as of the last project that I wrote, I developed a bit more skill with Evernote. I used to see people using it during work meetings and stuff, and I never caught on to the idea of taking notes in Evernote for that. But as an outlining tool and as a drafting tool, I think it's awesome. I create 5 files generally. So I'll have one for character settings, details and pieces, so like just random little scenes, the actual outline, and then the draft. So I create 5 separate notebooks under one stack, which is what Evernote calls like a folder. And under there, I'll add these notes. I will sync them up automatically. I can do it on my iPad, my Chromebook, my laptop. So anywhere where I have access to Wi-Fi, I can sit down and write something at any time. And that was particularly useful during the last NaNoWriMo, as it's in the middle of November. As it works out for libraries, usually conferences are held in November and December, so I tend to travel a little bit in November and I don't want to carry everything with me, so I can just either write on the iPad or write on my phone, which is not the greatest thing, but it's manageable. So it allows me that flexibility to write anywhere at any time. Now, one caveat, Evernote did just change their policies as far as how many devices you can sync up to, but their premium rate is so low, I just decided to upgrade. So it was $34 for a year, And they also have like a monthly plan. It's like $3.99. That's the mid-grade plan, but it allows me to continue syncing up across devices. So not a promo for Evernote. I'm not getting paid for this, but I do love it. I do use it very effectively. And then when I'm done with that, I'll pop everything into Scrivener, which if you're participating in NaNoWriMo, they usually give you a discount code. It's about 50% off for Scrivener later after the month is done. They provide that code. It's a really great tool. It also allows you to have that flexibility and control over your content. However, I do not have a Mac, so there is some limitation in the PC version of Scrivener. If you have a Mac, they have the full-blown version. It's got editing tools, it's got everything. Scrivener PC, I would call it more like Scrivener Lite. It's a writing tool, but it doesn't really have much of the editing features, so it gets a little hard to use when you're trying to do like track changes or something, and you end up relying on snapshots, which is their version of like a backup. It's good, it works, it does what it does. But other than that, I do still stick to pen and paper because it just comes about that you usually need it. And my first level of drafting tends to be on paper. So I tend to buy these Moleskine, this is the large size, and I've been using these since grad school, and it just naturally evolved into my writing as well. I use them all throughout both of my graduate programs and throughout my thesis writing project. So having this on hand just became part of my personality, I suppose. And they're great. I like the size. I tend to like fold them, tab them, do all kinds of crazy things to them. But I use these for outlining both before, after, and during writing. I have different ways in which I outline, but sometimes while I'm writing, I'll just quickly jot down a note, not necessarily go into the Evernote outline, or not necessarily want to edit a file of some sort, so I'll just quickly write it down. For this project, I have like 3 notebooks because I've got notes written in the original notebook, which is this one, and then I've got notes written in this notebook, which I'm just trying to use up because I have been cleaning out my collection of notebooks that never got used at some point, and this was really the editing notebook for the other project. Still has enough pages that I can go through and just kind of, I've written down some notes there while I was working on the 4th draft of Anuna. I kept getting ideas for this follow-up. So I would write them down periodically. Now I have to go back, make sense of those, and translate them into the Camp NaNoWriMo outline project, which, as of the last outline I did, I think my previous major outlining project was about 5,000 words, so that's what I set as my Camp NaNoWriMo goal. Not particularly, like grand, but it's a doable goal, and I can get it done in July. I'm really focusing on outlining the story, writing down some of the scenes that are just coming up in my head, and I sometimes have what seem to be conversations with myself, which I think is fairly common among writers. You end up sort of embodying your characters, and people may think you're a nutcase because you are acting them out in your head. So that's happening. And of course, the video got cut off at that point, so I lost about 2 minutes of filming. Anyhow, Camp NaNoWriMo, if you're doing it, check it out. I am emperatrix. I'll link that down below, so if you'd like to add me or friend me, go ahead. I haven't really been very active for camp, but maybe I'll try to get a little bit more active. Either way, I'll also try to post some more videos on writing process. I'll probably have at least one update during the month about this project, and maybe, let me know what you're doing for your creative writing process, how your editing or outlining process is working out. So, see you guys later. Have a great day, and bye.